Right, something a bit different this week. Dinghy repairs. Not our normal dinghy though. We don't normally bother with an inflatable because we don't live too far from the club, so we just tow our rigid dinghy down to the club when we need to use a dinghy, and we can't go that far from here anywhere where we really benefit from going ashore and stuff, so we don't bother it. But we're about to hopefully head off up the east coast like we do this time of year and have a cruise, and having Winnie and Izzy and us, we end up normally spending our time in marinas, but we thought it'd be much better if we took an inflatable with us and we can drop anchor, stay away a bit more, and make more use of the all the creeks and rivers and that around the east coast. So our father-in-law has this nice waveline dinghy that he's only had for a couple of years, which he sold to us. Great, we'll use that, we thought. Except when we actually came to unpack it, the valve, there's 3 chambers, one on each side and a chamber on the front. That valve is broken. So I googled it, and sure enough, there's some YouTube films and that about people replacing the valve, but all they replace is that bit. And if that was the only bit that was broken, it wouldn't be such a problem, although it's still a problem because Waveline haven't got that valve in stock. They've only got this one, which although fundamentally is exactly the same, works the same way, that bit doesn't screw into that bit, so you can't use it anyway. But it's worse than that, because the bit, this bit that's inside, is broken as well. And as is the nature, this works by, you poke that bit through the hole that's in the rubber, that bit goes on the other side and it clamps it. So that's what clamps the valve tight against the the sides of the dinghy and makes the seal. Except of course that also means then the bit that clamps up on the inside won't come through the hole, because that's the whole point. If it came through the hole it wouldn't clamp, would it? So I've got to get it out. And after much head scratching and talking to people, decided the only way that's going to come out is if we cut the hole and make it bigger. And if we do that, so I figure if someone's going to cut a hole and make it bigger, might as well try and be me. So what I've done is bought a PVC dinghy repair kit and some PVC repair, whatever you want to call this. And I'm hoping that if I cut a nice round disc out of this and cut a hole in the middle of it, and if I cut the hole that's in the dinghy, put some sort of star cuts in it or whatever, so that I can now just about get the plug out, when I come to put it back together, I'll put the new bit inside. I'll then use my round patch that I've cut out of this to stick over around the outside, then screw the parts together, and then the valve has still got the rubber to seal against, and we'll glue it all down and that'll make the seal. So that's the old bit out. Now I've got to get the new bit back in. As you saw, I've only cut the slits like as small as I could get away with, and with that broken, and this is actually slightly smaller, it just about came out. I suspect I'm not going to be as lucky getting the new one in, but as smaller I can make those, the more chance there is of the lip on this valve clamping over the bits I've cut, and obviously therefore then the patch as well, sealing it and keeping it all stuck and airtight. We'll keep going. It's a lot harder getting the new one back in, because you've got when you're pulling it out, you can just pull against it and hold in it. When you're trying to push it in, you kind of can't hold it to push against. And I am not going to cut this hole any bigger unless I really have to. Okay, I'll give in. Hey. So it's in. Going to try dry fit now to see what it's like. Okay. Well, the good news is it's in okay, and apart from a couple of tiny bits where you can just about see the cut I made, you can't really see it. So as long as my patch covers them up and seals them, hopefully the valve itself will keep some integrity in the joint. All I've got to do is stop the air getting out. That's all you got to do. Stop the air getting out. Find something now to cut round. So I've drawn round a roll of sellotape and the lid off of a tube of Izzy suntan lotion, and it looks kind of like that. And I'm just going to cut that out and try it dry fit again. Looking good so far. Well, I guess that's the easy bit. Now I need to go and read some instructions and find out how this adhesive works. It's IBS Boat Supplies PVC Inflatable Boat Adhesive Part 2, and that's presumably Part 1. So I've traced around my patch where it's going to go on the hull. I'm now going to stick masking tape on it, because with this adhesive apparently you mix the two parts together and then you spread it on both surfaces, let it dry, do it a couple more times, then you push it together. So obviously you don't really want adhesive on the things that don't need adhesive. Right, the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to degrease it with acetone, which is almost certainly the wrong stuff to use, because acetone's pretty evil stuff and it melts most things. But I did put some on this little bit I cut out, and it looks and feels okay. Because the one good thing with acetone is if it doesn't destroy the dinghy, it will get the grease off. Certainly getting the pen marks off. Blimey, unlike most things you buy like this, it's actually filled to the brim. It's proper goopy stuff. It's like a runny treacle. Properly put stinky. Don't know what this stink is, but cleaning the can up is taking the ink off the sticker. It's obviously potent stuff. Okay, this is filled to the brim as well. Whew, just as stinky. So a 20 for that is just a drip. Now I'm not a chemist, and perhaps someone could help me with this, but I'm guessing at 20 to 1, all you need is a bit of the chemical to start the reaction, and once it starts, it will just continue throughout, as opposed to 2 parts of the same adhesive or something. But again, if someone understands this stuff and can explain what's going on, please do. So I didn't mix too much up because we've got to do 3 coats of this, and I don't know how long it's going to last or whatever, so let's spread it on. Well, first bit done. I'll put the tin away now, but I think it said wait 20 minutes. So it's 20 minutes later, and I've just mixed up some more of this adhesive. Although, to be honest, the stuff that was still in the pot was still runny. Well, not runny, it's never runny, it's jelly-like, but it was still jelly-like, even though it's clearly gone off on the things I spread it on thinly. So I might have been able to just use what was still in the pot, but I thought rather than take a chance, I'd mix some new up. Again, if anyone out there knows, let us know. Anyway, the instructions say now I've got to put it on again, another coat on, leave it 2 minutes, then spread another coat on, leave it 2 minutes, then I'll put them all together. So this is the second coat, but I am slightly puzzled here by the instructions, because it was very clear. It said 20 minutes for the first coat, then it said by 2 more coats, 2 minutes between each coat, and then it says when the surfaces are dry, bring the 2 bits together. Now it is actually kind of touch dry in 2 minutes, this stuff, but do they mean when it's dry, put them together, or do they mean after 2 minutes? You can't have both, can you? Anyway, I'm going to leave it for 2 minutes and we'll see. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes. I'm going to try and put it together. One thing I had noticed, as you'd expect in a way, some of the glue had dripped through the hole. And I don't want to squash this down in a minute and then find I'll stick the 2 halves of the dinghy together, so I've shoved a bit of paper towel in the hole. Hopefully that will do a good enough job of stopping it sticking. Right, what I'm going to do, I am putting this on my lid, on my plug, just to start with, to help me get it all lined up, so I get it perfectly lined up on the hole. Then the plan is I take the plug out, then I can smooth it down and make sure it's stuck. Wish me luck. That's not a good start. Okay. Feels promising. It says rub it down from the middle, working your way out with something hard and smooth like the back of a screwdriver. The only bit that's a bit of a pain is the fact that there's a bit of reinforcing on the inside of the hole, which isn't quite the same size as the hole that's in the dinghy. So there's already a kind of a step on this inner edge, which I've got to kind of work it into. It's looking good though. Well, who knows if that's going to work, but it seems okay. I need to find something big and heavy now then to put on that just to keep it flat, because apparently you have to leave it 24 hours before you use it, and unfortunately the dinghy is not going to stay in our lounge for 24 hours, but at least for the next hour or two it could stay flat, couldn't it, if I could find something to press it down with. Okay, so it's the next day. The patch looks to be stuck on really well, so I'm just going to screw the valve back on and we'll pump it up and see what happens. First problem is finding the valve. Oh, there it is. I do a proper tool for this, which I'm probably going to wish I had. Well, it looks okay. It does say leave for 24 hours before you do this, and it's only been like 18 hours, but then it is warm. So anyway, that's blown up. There's no obvious sign of hissing and stuff. I'll get some soapy water in a minute and we'll see if it leaks, but I'll blow the other two up so we've got a dinghy. This is just water with washing up detergent in it. If there's any air at all, you'll see it blowing bubbles. But that is good. So, let me know if that's the right way to do it. I don't know. It's just the way I chose to do it. But if you're in the same position as us, you've got to replace the valve and you can't get the bit out, at least at the moment, that appears to do the job. It's good. Hopefully we can make use of it now on our holiday. So thanks for watching. This is Sailing with the Foxwell family, and next time you see this, hopefully we'll be up some muddy creek somewhere. Have fun.